What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We are on a mission. So I've got a few days off from work. Basically the entire trip's going to be about taking a trip in the van, getting new doors for the side for the passenger doors. Ours are pretty beat up. I'll drop some footage in here. So we found some decent doors at a salvage lot in Denver, so that's what I'm doing now is cruising in the GX, gonna go pick up some doors that will look a little bit better. Hopefully the white is the same color, a few years off from ours to 2009, I think. And the other thing I'm gonna do is a little bit of a surprise. So I'm heading to another state for a modification to the van that we haven't really talked about. So our original plan was to cut a hole in the top, put some kind of a pop top on the van, and those plans have changed a little bit. So we are going over to Wasatch Overland in Salt Lake City. We're gonna get a high top placed on the van. So the guys at Wasatch will cut a hole in the roof, and they will gonna let some motorcycles pass so they can get on their way. Because this road coming up is absolutely fantastic for motorcycle riding, and my big SUV is going to be in the way. So heading to Wasatch Overland in Salt Lake City, they're going to put a high top on the van, so we'll get a little bit extra headroom. We won't have to worry about like a mechanism or like a leaking canvas or anything like that. We won't have to do any of the work ourselves, which is also a huge thing, and the guys from Wasatch have been super helpful answering all of our questions. I think it's going to be a good move in the long term. It's a little bit more expensive than we had planned, but it's still super affordable for what it is, and compared to like a sportsmobile or a field van pop top, it's wildly cheap. So the plan is to pick up some doors today in Denver. I'm going to get those back, and then get to the house, and then head to Salt Lake. I'll do some camping along the way. It's a beautiful drive. Get to hang out and take my time, and then I'll actually pick up Rachel at the Salt Lake City airport. She's coming back from Overland Expo East from working, and I'll pick her up, and then we'll drive back together and get back to work and the week following. So tune in. I'm going to try to bring you along as much as I can. The first adventure is getting into South Denver and finding some doors from a scrapyard. So I'll keep you going here. First step of the mission's complete. I've got two mint side doors off of an E250 that look like they're gonna fit. There's a small chance that I'm picking them up from a less than stellar operation in Inglewood, Colorado, south of Denver. But we're not gonna ask questions. Car was definitely wrecked. It definitely had a plate. Yeah, super sketchy. Kind of a wild place to be, but out of an alley. Picked it up. We're loaded up. Deal's done. I'm gonna hit the road back. Gonna load up the van and head to Salt Lake City and see if we can get a high top going. Let's roll. Try to get as far as I can tonight, and heading kind of toward Dinosaur National Monument. So we'll see if we get there this evening, and if not, stop somewhere short and have a good night. Good morning, y'all. I got in last night about 10 o'clock. I am in between Rifle and Meeker, Colorado, I think. This is a pretty good example of a situation where a four-wheel drive van is ideal for the type of travel that we do. Two-wheel drive is good enough most of the time. So last night I got in, it was not raining, it was not thundering and storming. Dry ground everywhere, not a puddle. I drove 8 miles back here, got up on this hill, and great. A little bit of a climb coming into this campsite. A two-wheel drive Sprinter made a better choice and camped at the bottom of this hill. And of course I was like, oh yeah, cool, it's a great hill, there's a spot up there, I'm gonna go try it out. So now I'm on top of the hill, the ground is peanut butter mud, and we have to go back down to get out of here, and it's been raining since basically I got here. So probably should have moved last night at 11 whenever I noticed it was raining. Did not, so let's go take a look and see what we're working with. This is the peanut butter mud that's already caked on my shoes. I did hear elk bugling this morning, which was quite nice. I'm hoping that although this is disgusting peanut butter mud, we are going down, so in theory it should be a little bit easier. Don't really have much of an option. We're just kind of gonna send it and see what happens, but come around here as best I can, get squared up, and then baby you're down the hill. See what happens. But man, you just can't beat that for a campsite. So like, either gonna have to buy a 4-wheel drive van or just really get good recovery equipment. While this doesn't look super sketchy when you're watching it on the GoPro at this angle, there's a pretty good like 6 or 7 degree angle from camera right to camera left. So all I'm trying to really do in this situation is to just ease my way over as slow as possible and try not to just slide completely off to the right or to the camera left here. And you can see me just kind of working it in, and I'm literally trying to bindragoo this thing and make the rut my road. Like I needed that center rut to catch, or else I was just gonna slide into the trees and just keep going. I worked it here. I really thought I was going into the brush. Managed to catch that front tire, and then once I caught the front tire, it was just full lock to the left all the way down until I got over and got the back around. And you can kind of see the van adjust here in just a second. And there it is. And like the rest of the way down was great. This is a pretty sketchy road, to be completely honest, and it was only right to pass the two-wheel drive Sprinter on the way down. That made the right choice. All right, one thing I will note, my wife would be mad at me if I did not. If I had any inclination that that was going to rain like that last night, I would have never chosen that trail because it was soft dirt all the way to the top. And I knew for a fact that it was going to be muddy if it rained all night. I did not anticipate. It was clear skies when I went to bed. That's Colorado. That's kind of how it works. But that is not how we take care of trails. I don't love that. I don't feel good about that. And you shouldn't either. 4-wheel drive's not to tear stuff up. It's to get places that are cool. I'm glad that I was able to get out of that without destroying anything, without making big ruts. But it's yeah, it's not ideal. So if you know that there's rain coming, you know that there's storms coming, avoid that spot. It's not great, and it doesn't look all that tall now that we're on the bottom side of it. That little hill right there, little knob, is where I just was. So we're gonna see if we can see some elk crossing through here, and then head our way to Dinosaur National Monument, and hopefully it's not raining there. Y'all, so Got the Dinosaur National Monument. Holy cow. It's just incredible. There's no one here. It's me and one other person. The park's closed down for the government shutdown. Thanks a lot. There's one other couple here. It's just completely quiet. Crazy. So I'm at the visitor center near Vernal, Utah. Most of the park is closed. A lot of the dinosaur fossils are not accessible, but there's some pretty sweet petroglyphs and like home sites and things like that. So I'm gonna check those out, come back later when I have more time, and the government's not shut down. But this place is just unreal. So I think tonight I'm going to camp down here at the bottom of the hill where the water runs into the reservoir at Sheep Creek. If that doesn't work, I'll find a different spot, but I just can't get over how pretty this area is. I wish I had more time to explore here. It seems like there's a lot. The weather's been terrible. It's been overcast, rainy, and windy all day, but can't complain too much about it. With the National Monument being almost completely closed, it kind of put a hamper on what I had planned for that day, and so I made my way toward Flaming Gorge, and man, was it worth it. This place is unbelievable. I can't wait to get back here and explore more. My campsite was actually at the one of the inlets to the gorge and to the reservoir. Not a bad spot for the night, and the Department of Wildlife was even working on some salmon habitat work going up the river. So it was pretty cool to be able to see those fish making their way up the waterway there. It's wild, y'all. Driving here, and I'm reminded of why we travel during the shoulder season. It's always interesting. The seasons are changing. There's not as many people. The roads are way less congested than the summertime. But just now, I came out of the Uinta Mountains, where I camped a little lower down on the reservoir last night, but still was traveling all through the Uintas yesterday at 8,000 and 9,000 feet. A little bit of scattered showers, but nothing crazy. And then one day later, and I'm down here at 6,800 feet, and it's raining on me, but in the hillside next to me, it is absolutely dumping snow. So my campsite tonight will have to be dictated by the amount of snow that's on the ground or falling around Park City. But this van is definitely not set up for winter camping yet. Half the insulation's not done. There's no auxiliary heater, no chains, nothing like that. So we're gonna opt to not camp in the snow if we can help it, and might camp closer to the Salt Lake if needed. But I thought that was quite interesting that it was raining yesterday and sprinkling, and now it's snowing. I made my way technically into Wyoming for just a little while. Jumped on Interstate 80, and it's my least favorite thing to do. I don't love driving the interstate. I made a quick turn off about as quickly as I could on Highway 150 coming back into Utah, putting me back into Uinta National Forest, and crossing the mountains. Just one of the most epic drives I think I've ever done in a vehicle. I was able to stop off at a couple of the lakes. I think Mirror Lake was one of them. And the views were just unbelievable. That fresh coat of snow. There was hardly anyone on the road, and most of the aspens were still turning. It reminded me so much of British Columbia and parts of Western Canada that are just epic. And I felt very fortunate to be where I was at this point in time and to catch the weather like I did. Our camp setup has gotten pretty simple over the years, especially when you're sleeping in the van. Like, you don't need a whole lot. Obviously, that'll change as we build out the inside to be able to cook indoors. But this setup has been working great, and we can move it from vehicle to vehicle. I'll put links in the description to all the stuff that we use in this one so you can check it out. I made it out to Park City-ish. I think it's State Highway 151. It's a pretty popular, seems like pretty popular camping spot, especially with the hunting folks this time of year. The digs aren't bad. Let's see if we can spin this around. So far I'm by myself here. Highway's a little close, but what can you do? Making a little cup of tea to warm up a bit. It's a little chilly. It's quite nice though. It's good to be out of summer. And then I've got a babbling creek next to the campsite, so I can't really be mad about that. So I had a fairly big lunch today, so I'm not super starving, and all of my recipes are basically made for two. So I'm going with something I learned from a fellow traveler, the folks over at Dirt Sunrise, Tim and Kelsey, now Salty Sunrise. One of their videos a long time ago had them sitting on the back of a Land Cruiser eating noodles, and I thought about it whenever I was planning this trip and grabbing groceries, and thought, man, that's a great idea to have just a meal hung out ready to go. So I'm gonna throw together some noodles. I've got some spicy sausages chopped up, toss that in, drinking a non-alcoholic beer, chomping on some Pringles, wildly healthy. Yeah, so we'll get cooking on this, watch what's left of the sunset, just listen to the water and relax. This is where I'm going to leave you, friends. This episode got way bigger than I thought it was going to be. I need to trim it down a little bit, so in the next one you'll catch us going to Salt Lake City, picking up Rachel and getting the high top put on the van, so be sure and tune into that. Also check out our other videos. We've got quite a few already of the van build, and we'll just keep adding them, so tune in, and thank you so much for watching.